My check. My check, check, check. All right. Ça, c'est le livre de Psaume 8. Ô Seigneur, notre Seigneur, combien ton nom est excellent sur toute la terre. Tu as placé ta gloire au-dessus des cieux, de la bouche des bébés et de ceux qui t'aident. Et de ceux qui t'aident. As-tu institué la vigueur? Yeah, psaume 7. Ô Seigneur mon Dieu, en toi je mets ma confiance. Sauve-moi de tout ceux qui me persécutent et délivre-moi de peur qui ne déchire mon âme. Oh, let me check OBS. Let me check, 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 check. De, ô Seigneur mon Dieu, si j'ai fait cela. Check, check, check. Test, test, test. OK. Lève-toi, ô Seigneur, dans ta colère. Élève-toi à cause de la rage. Hey, stop, stop, stop. Que l'ennemi persécute mon âme et la prenne. Oui, qu'il piétine ma vie sur la terre, et mette mon honneur dans la poussière. C'est là. Lève-toi, ô Seigneur, dans ta colère. Élève-toi à cause de la rage de mes ennemis. Check, check. All right, that will be good now. Ainsi, la congrégation des peuples t'encerclera pour leur bien. Retourne donc. What mic is this? And what is the DPS on OBS? Check, check, check. Yes, we'll do, sir. All right, guys, coming in. If your shoes are good, coming in. And focus the camera. All right, sir. We'll fix that right now. Shut up, Sabbath, up, Sabbath. Just wait for me here. All right, sir. Check, 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 check. Ferme la porte avec ça, s'il vous plaît, je fais des tests. Sir, what about the focus now? Let me know if it's okay so I can adjust it. So I'm gonna keep on reading. All right. All right. Le livre, test, check, 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 check. Let me turn up the gain a little bit. My check. Ok, c'est bon. All right. Le livre de Psaume 9, le verset 1er. Je te louerai, ô Seigneur, de tout mon cœur. J'exposerai tous tes merveilleux ouvrages. Je serai content et je me réjouirai en toi. Je chanterai tes louanges à ton nom, ô toi le plus haut. Check, check. Ô toi le plus haut. Lorsque mes ennemis auront fait demi-tour, ils tomberont et périront en ta présence. Test. Lorsque mes ennemis auront fait demi-tour, ils tomberont et périront en ta présence, car tu as maintenu. Et tu as maintenu. Le Seigneur aussi sera un refuge pour l'opprimé, un refuge en temps de difficulté. Et ceux qui connaissent ton nom mettront leur confiance en toi. Car toi, Seigneur, tu n'as pas abandonné ceux qui te cherchent. Chantez des louanges au Seigneur, lorsque lequel demeure en signant. Have someone sit there so you can focus on the person and not the pic. Hey, Brother Emmanuel, come take check this mic. Go sit on the front with a Bible and read. Sit in the front. Yeah, sit in the. Yeah, let's hurry up. Don't give me some nervous shit, bro. No, sir. Just read. So, man, back off. Serious.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 2.
Louder.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 2. Who in the time of Inimisar, king of the Assyrians, was led captive out of Thisbe, which is at the right hand of that city, which is called proper.
You're in minus 20. We need minus 15 to minus 10, so you have to keep loud. Come on.
Yes, sir. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 1. And seeing the multitude, he went up into a mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Stay in the spirit.
Yeah, the main. Okay, now the main is on 15. Yeah. Yes, on the mixer. Repeat that. Mm-hmm. Yes, on the right. Mm-hmm. Yes, I got you. Yeah, it's under the zero, but at 15. So you know you have 10, 5, 0, then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40. Yeah, now right
Yeah.
now he's at 15. Yes, sir.
Psaumes 67. Laquelle? Ah, okay.
Mhm. Now now you're talking about the game, correct? Okay, that's the reader. Yeah, that's for the.
Want me to read, sir?
Mhm. Oh, okay. Oh, the volume. Okay, my bad. He's at 0. The game is like I said that's 19. Yeah, you need 8 hours, 8 o'clock. Yeah. Off. Okay. Turn it down. Okay. Done. 5. Like upper
Yeah,
or down
that's
because there's
fine.
2 5. You mean down,
One day.
up? Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
It's
sir.
done.
Yes, sir. Lord's will. Oh, I thought you checked.
I keep reading.
This is the book of Sirach. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. Whether a man be rich or poor, if he had a good heart toward the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. There be 3 things that mine heart feareth, and for the 4th I was sore afraid: the slander of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude, and a false accusation. All these are worse than death. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that had hold of her is as though he had held a scorpion. For God to love the world, he gave only begotten Son. Whoso believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. It's the world. Chapter 16. Oh, Romans 1:16? Romans 1:16. For I am. This is the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. This is the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 16. I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6, and verse 1. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. And even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves, and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree. Hey, someone get the mic from
My my check. Okay.
You want me to read, sir? This is the book of Genesis, chapter 5, and verse 1. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years, and begat Enos. And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 850. Yes, sir. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 1. Love righteousness.
Now you're talking about the main volume or on his mic? The main volume? Oh, just the mic. Okay. 'Cause I hear 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 the mic.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 1. Instead of an enemy, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so, a sinner that hath the double tongue. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart, that thou soul be torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree. A wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to... Gotcha. Verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself. Continue. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure. Nothing doth contravail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shalt thou find wisdom till thy old age. Come unto her as one that ploweth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits. For thou shalt not toil much in laboring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits very right soon. She is very unpleasant to the unlearned. He that is without understanding will not remain with her. She will lie upon him as a mighty stone of trial, and he will cast her from him ere it be long. For wisdom is according to her name, and she is not manifest unto many. Give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. And put thy feet into her fetters, and thy chain into her chain. Bow down thy shoulder and bear her, and be not grieved with her bonds. Come unto her with thy whole heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. Search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. For at the last thou shalt... Continue. For at the last thou shalt find her rest, and that shall be turned to thy joy. Then shall her fetters be a strong defense for thee, and her chains a robe of glory. For there is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are purple lace. Thou shalt put her on as a robe of honor, and shalt put her about thee as a crown of joy.
Brother, give him that mic. Give it that mic. Yes, all the way down. Yes, every one of us. One, two, 1, 2.
Testing, testing. All right. Shall I start reading? This is the book of Tobit, chapter 5, and verse 1. Tobias then answered and said, Father. Okay. Yes, sir. Tobias then answered and said, Father, I will do all things which thou hast commanded me. But how can I receive the money, seeing I know him not? That he gave him the handwriting and said unto him, Seek thee a man which may go with thee, whilst I yet live, and I will give him wages, and go and receive the money. Therefore, when he went to seek a man, he found Raphael, that was an angel. But he knew not. And he said unto him, Canst thou go with me to Rages? And knowest thou those places well? Those to whom the angel said, I will go with thee, and I know the way well, for I have lodged with our brother Gabael. Then Tobias said unto him, Tarry for me, till I tell my father. Then he said unto him, Go, and tarry not. So he went in and said to his father, Behold, I have found one which will go with me. Then he said, Call him unto me, that I may know of what tribe he is, and whether he be a trusty man to go with thee. Shalom, brothers.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Just said shalom. I wanted to channel some energy here.
All right.
The quiz? It ends Sunday at 11:05.
Don't upload your videos to YouTube. Upload to Restream, where we will live stream it to YouTube and all.
Yeah, I thought it was deep. I thought it was admirable. But late in life, when
Yes,
I learned
sir.
the scriptures,
Shalom.
I said, there it is
This is
right
the book
there.
of Tobit, chapter 6,
Give me
chapter 5, and verse
who's reading
7.
for me? Give
And
me
Tobias said
Jeremiah
unto him,
18,
Tarry
verse
for me,
12.
till I tell my father.
Jeremiah 18, verse 12.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 18, verse 12. And they said, There is no hope, but we will walk after our own devices, and we will everyone do the imagination of his evil heart.
Wait, read that again.
And they said,
This is what, now remember, this is Israelite speaking. Now, Dr. Molana Karenga, he likes to be called, he's an Israelite, whether he knows it or not. This is what we're reading here applies to him and many of our people. Read it one more time.
And they said, There is no hope.
We felt at the time there was no hope. Remember, this was created during the 60s. He said there's no hope. He said we cannot be celebrating these white supremacist holidays, which we all agreed with. Absolutely. But go ahead.
But we will walk after our own devices.
See, here's the problem. We will walk after our own devices. Go ahead.
And we will everyone do the imagination of his evil heart.
See that? Everyone will walk after the imagination of his evil heart. hence Kwanzaa. It sounds very, help me out, it's empowering. It sounds very self-empowering. However, it's from the devices of a man's own heart. Watch this. Give me Sirach in the Apocrypha chapter 5, and let's start at verse 2. Sirach chapter 5 and verse 2. Now, I know the brother meant well. He meant well. However, the problem is it goes outside of God's plan for our people. Sirach chapter 5, let's read 2 through 4.
The book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 2.
Listen good.
Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 2. Follow not thine heart, thy own mind, and thy strength, to walk in the ways of thy heart. And say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me? For the Lord is long-suffering, he will in no wise let thee go. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin. Shabbat, Shabbat or Sabbath, also called Shabbos, but Ashkenazism is Judaism's day of rest on the seventh day of the week, i.e. Saturday. On this day, religious Jews remember the biblical stories describing the creation of the heaven and earth in 6 days, and the redemption from slavery and the exodus from Egypt, and look forward to a future messianic age. Since the Jewish religious calendar counts days from sunset to sunset, it's the book of Tobit, chapter 6 and verse 9. And he called him, he came in, and they saluted one another. Then Tobit said unto him, Brother, show me what tribe and family thou art. To whom he said, Dost thou seek for a tribe or family, or an hired man to go with thy son? Then, quote another one? This is the book of Tobit, chapter 6 and verse 1. And as they went on their journey, they came in the evening to the river Tigris, and they lodged there. And when the young man went down to wash himself, a fish leaped out of the river and would have devoured him.
So this is what you call a text. This is what you call a text. Okay, thank you, Brother Manuel.